is there is an absurd amount of PR players and high-level talent concentration relative to the rest of the, pool of competitors, but that does not matter. Pier Vocal, game one, let's get it.
We're jumping right in. We're seeing the expected legend pick coming out from Vocal here on the Asuri. Pier, on the other hand, going to be opting to go for this Onyx pick.
Oh my gosh, and what a punish out of that dodge into the GC as well. That was like such a nice way to like not only respond defensively, but to be able to turn that situation into your own.
100% now. So far, fairly even all throughout. Vocal is going all the way down into deep orange now, though, able to recover back safely, and he has those Katars in hand, so he's going to be able to deal a lot of damage if he gets an opening.
Oh yeah, right now Pier gauntlets in hand, just as you said, going to be scouting out this next option, gets that Sig, and ooh, committing a little bit too much to that side Sig, landing, being patient, and Vocal landing a little bit unsafely with that neutral, ended up misspacing.
Nice, good combos coming out from Pier, getting closer and closer to finding this KO now, throwing him off, not going to be able to find that dare, extremely close though, Vocal's NSA going to miss, Pier able to find that KO, very clean punish.
I'm going to say, we're only like one stock into this, and of course the match is going to change drastically. Pier's spacing is looking on point, Pier's aggression as well, and responses out of disadvantage, everything is looking pristine.
Absolutely. Vocal trying to, Vocal definitely keeping things competitive, throwing out the N-Sig, finding that KO as well.
That was beautiful. Vocal backed off, saw that Pier last time around mashed out aggressively out of disadvantage after that dodge, did so again. He was outside of the range for that down air. He was then able to get the punish. That was just well played. That was good understanding of the situation.
Absolutely. So far, definitely, as mentioned, Vocal doing a really good job at tightening things up and evening it out there. After Pier had, well, let's be honest, a pretty explosive start there towards in the start of the set here. But Vocal is able to, stay consistent.
Oh, in such a good way yet again, just in case Pier ended up dodging downwards. And Vocal, I gotta say, Vocal is just like mixing up after all of these Katara hits so often. Like, we have not seen like the same option twice. We're seeing timing mix-ups, movement mix-ups. Vocal is mixing.
Definitely mixing, and we have been seeing a ton of signatures coming out from Vocal. There's going to be the recovery that KO's next up, though. And all in all, we're seeing a Vocal that really favors the Katars right now.
Okay, Pier going to be jumping back down to the ground, going to be finding that down and not able to actually get that neutral pickup that he was originally looking for. Just both of them slowing down the pace of the match a little bit. Vocal catching that jump in, getting so much damage.
Ton of damage indeed. Vocal getting a larger and larger lead. Again, that is really what Katars excel at, especially if you're able to find that damage buildup. You could have a harder time getting those KOs, but it's damage buildup is in the name of Katars.
Oh yeah, Vocal makes it back onto the stage, just dash dancing over that weapon, comes in with that side light, delay, those timing mix-ups. Pier has consistently just done a dodge in place out of those downlights.
Vocal is definitely looking on point when it comes to those reads so far, but Pier is going to be taking him down with a recovery on the cannon, going to be sticking to that cannon as well. Good choice, I feel like. With the cannon, if you're able to get an opening and you're able to get a lot of damage, there you go. Massive opportunity to get something going for yourself.
Oh yeah, for sure. Already going to be in the yellow off of just 3 hits. Okay, nice little neutral light just to get Pier off of him. Nice little dodge, just being responsive and not dashing into that tossed weapon. Pier continuously denied of the weapon. Vocal does it again. This staccato play, this waiting. Vocal is hitting, waiting, saying, do it, dodge, jump. I'm waiting for your next option, I'm reacting to your next option, and Vocal has gotten multiple punishes consecutively as a result. Vocal is mixing with those Katars.
Absolutely. Vocal has been on point with the Katars, as you mentioned. Really, specifically, the most important part about that is that he has pretty much only used the Katar so far. Like, I feel like if Vocal really feels like things aren't working out as well anymore, he can swap over and start using that sword a little bit more. And Vocal also has a pocket Ragnar, so I mean, even if the sword isn't feeling good, can swap over to that too.
So, Paula, I got a question for you. How do you avoid being put in the Katara blender? Or is there, like, absolutely nothing that you can do? Because I feel like a lot of Pier's disadvantage options, a lot of the way that he was using dodges ended up getting called out. Is there anything that he could have done to avoid as much damage as he did?
In general, when you're fighting Katars, you're gonna feel like you're getting trapped. Katars have that effect where even if you're winning against Katars, it feels like you're losing because it's such a rushdown weapon. So what you need is you just need to have composure, and you need to be able to outsmart your opponent. Of course, mixing up your Katars is important, but I feel like you're gonna have a strong mental to fight Katars.
For sure, you don't want to like just start pressing the same button repeatedly when he gets stressed out. But now Vocal, oh, picking up the Qataris that he did so well with last game. Let's see if it's going to come into play. There it is again, the weight. That time around the neutral a little bit down too far to the bottom and the right for it to connect, but the intent was there. Vocal, relax.
Yeah, you're hyping Vocal up a lot, but I mean, Pier is kind of putting a serious dent into him right now. This is looking quite dangerous for him, and the Vocal is slowly starting to come back, perhaps with those Qatars, and he's starting to make some serious damage, but Pier is getting close to finding that KO.
I'm surprised there's like no immediate follow-up after that side light from Pier. Typically speaking, you'd see like what, like a down light, neutral, something, anything, honestly. But there it is. That's going to be it. Pier finding that little bit of a pickup. Beautiful stuff. Classic conversion.
Yes, very, very nice combo, going for the Sair there when he was so close to that wall to find that KO. Also grabbing that GCD line, I felt like it barely wasn't going to hit, but N-Light coming out from Vocal, trying to push onto Pier as well here, but Vocal is playing from a back now, and I feel like that's a Vocal we haven't seen so far, so it's going to be interesting to see how he adjusts now. Speaking
of Vocal we haven't seen so far, look at how much Vocal has been sticking to the swords. Pier tossing out the weapon yet again, just preventing Vocal from using the Qatars. I feel like that's where he's really exceeded on his damage, on his lethality. Vocal trying to space out a down light, not going to be able to find it.
The GCD light ground pound on the sword from Pier mid-air, absolutely crazy. Pier has been doing a great job at using this sword so far, and Vocal is still struggling to find this KO. It is in fact going to be Pier knocking Vocal to the right side again, and that is going to be another KO. Throw stocks to one. That weapon throw was a little bit funny, but it's going to be a KO nonetheless.
Can you chase dodge after your weapon throw?
No, you cannot.
Okay, yeah, so Vocal just totally out of options at that point. You know, typically speaking, any other attack that would have been able to do it, but finally taking off Pier's first stock. Pier has been playing steady. Pier has been denying Vocal of his win condition, and has just been like really tight with a lot of this damage. Look at that, from unarmed already into the yellow.
Yeah, 100%. Vocal still an entire stock behind, and Pier is just keeping it going right now. So many Sairs coming out, and Vocal is already down, all the way down to orange. This is looking like, Pier is looking dominant.
Oh yeah, Pier just being so efficient with his weapon usage. Tossing one out, able to pick up another one. Pier is going all the way out there with the down. Vocal with these weapon tosses. That didn't connect.
Oh no, Pier was way too far to the left. If he like went for a GCD like ground pound there, that would have been the KO for sure. But unfortunately, they're going to be missing that. Usually, you know, ground pounds like that off stage, they tend to be a bit magnetic, but not enough in this case.
Okay, just jumping out there, commits to the falling Sair. This could be really difficult, and it will be. The GC, whatever option Vocal was actually pressing, had it connected. That would have been the chase dodge to be able to get back onto the stage, but used up his dodge, ran out of options, and wave into the camera a little bit.
Wave into the camera a little bit. Vocal, I really want Vocal to do that as well. But Vocal has not noticed us yet, Dara.
Yeah, no, not at all. So I gotta say, this is highly competitive. This is not how, you know, technically this set should be kind of going, because Vocal 78 in the EU, if I'm not mistaken, number 78, going up against Pier, who is number 8. This is a massive PR difference, quite a bit of difference in results, and this is going to a Game 3. That Game 1 was so in Vocal's favor.
Yeah, no, it is definitely I want to say exceptional performance coming out from Vocal so far. And you can see you can see Vocal focused right now. This is clearly a bit of a longer break. I would like to imagine that Vocal is going to Legend Swap. And also, important fact, correct me if I'm wrong, I do believe in-game coaching is allowed during this tournament, and we actually see... Sorry, not mid-game, mid-set coaching, and that we actually see Zyder coming up here to Vocal.
Probably that is fast. This is not something that I knew. That is so different to everything that I know within like my home game, that which I come from, where mid-set coaching is like a massive taboo. That's sick. I love mid-set coaching. I love it. Just gives like a whole new like level to competition. So hopefully Vocal able to reset his mental. He's on the verge of an upset, a big upset, a substantial one at that. And Pier just has to lock it down. You don't want to get upset on. You don't want somebody to clutch this out against you.
Yeah, absolutely, and I believe I see a Koji. I'm not going to lie. They're using some darker color schemes, so it's hard to see up against the loading frame. But we are going to be okay. It's Demon Island Game 3, Dara. It's all come down to this. Let's see if Vocal has it in. Let's see if Pier is going to be able to keep their spot here.
And Vocal going to be starting off with the sword, Pier with the blasters, who's going to be getting that first big initial hit. Gets that down, and it doesn't get anything massive off of it.
Pier now trying to patrol the ground, doing massive work here off the blasters here on the ground. Nice sidelights coming out. In general, doing a great job at zoning out Vocal.
Yeah, but Vocal finally finding that opening. That's that wait again. That's that stutter in the approach, making sure that he is constantly mixing up his tempo. Waiting in place a little bit, doesn't get that dash up neutral light that he was looking for. Okay, just going to be empty hopping a little tiny bit. They're both just being so patient. This is the most patient I've seen them this set.
Absolutely, definitely a different pacing all throughout here in the third game, and I mean that's usually how it goes. You know, in the third game you really have to mix up your strategy, and in general, you know, when they are as tense as they are, when things are as tense as they are right now, you generally want to slow things down a little bit and make sure you're not making any massive mistakes.
Oh, really good dodge upwards. You have to land. Pier just maybe trying to lead like the 50-50 drift out, does not matter. He's able to get that first stock off. Vocal, how do you close with the sword? Can you get like that downlight recovery? With the guitars, can you get, you know, that recovery swing as well to be able to close it out? Sword on hand, and Pier is just jumping in over and over, not giving him any time to reset.
Ooh, I thought for sure he caught the dodge with that one, but Vocal is going to be able to get out of it fairly quickly. Now on the sword, we should be seeing a KO come out at any moment, but Pier has been able to rack up a serious amount of damage. That's it, indeed, but still, that is a little bit of a lead. You know, it might not be huge. Pier might be able to run away with it.
But if any weapon can even up this lead, it is Katars. All you need is that one start. How do you find this down light? How do you find this neutral light? How do you find the side light? That's one side light, that's the down light, and then down is back onto the stage. Even if it whiffed, it got you back on there. It's non-committal. One neutral light. Chase dodging in, maybe trying to lead a fast fall. Vocal's coverage is beautiful.
Very beautiful indeed, doing a pretty good job at evening it out so far, taking Pier further and further here, deeper into the orange. Now it's a Qatar mirror, nice side sig coming out. If he was able to follow that up off the top, I feel like that could have been another KO.
And speaking of following it up, oh my god, Pier actually able to connect that one into a KO. All of a sudden, the lead in the beginning, not so much. Vocal has a lot of work to put in if he wants to even this up at all.
Absolutely. Nice GC coming out from Pier now as well, sidelighting him off, not able to get anything big started, and in general, you kind of want to be careful when you're up against Vocal if he takes you off stage. Vocal tends to be kind of crazy off stage.
That was beautiful. The GC downlight to be able to extend that, to be able to get as much damage as possible. Pier looking to finish it all with that down and back off stage. How do you actually make it back on? You have sword on hand. Vocal makes it back on. Pier does too, but then doesn't go off stage with the ground pound. Pier tossing the weapons up. That was like 2 fumbles.
That was like the golden opportunity to turn around that offstage situation, but the ground pound hit the stage instead, and now here it is. Pier is getting closer and closer to finding this final KO and winning this game 3.
Okay, just backing off a little bit, and the hitbox on the recovery, big enough to stuff out that ground pound, especially when you don't have any weapons on you. Vocal on the guitar is going to be denying Pier the fresh weapon right now. This is big.
Managing to find a very important KO, trying to keep Pier away from that weapon as well. Weapon starving him out. Pier needs to find a weapon right now if he wants a chance at getting this KO.
Okay, just commits a little bit too much. Pier does exactly that. He picks up the guitars, but then commits a little bit too much. Speaking of commitment, Vocal wants to close. Wanted that ground pound so bad. Was it worth it, Polly? Was it worth it to put yourself off stage?
Not sure, but the side sig, that is going to be the KO. Pier 2-1ing Vocal, and that is going to be the end of the set. More than a commendable effort from Vocal coming out here. Exceptional performance, but unfortunately it's not going to take him all the way, and Pier is going to be advancing further into the bracket. Deserved.
Yeah, that was excellently played, I think, Vocal. That was a really hot performance. That was not how close I was expecting that kind of set to go, but he made it happen anyways. I just feel like at the end there, that ground pound off stage, man, that ground pound off stage, I know Vocal wanted all. Vocal was like, okay, I'm down a little bit in terms of damage. It's game 3 in pools. I want to get this win. I want to get this up. I want to be able to make this upset. But the reality is, if you don't actually gamble correctly, you put yourself off stage, even further down below. You're in disadvantage further instead of opting to get back on. It was a little bit too committal. I understand, you know, the thinking behind it, but ultimately it led to Vocal being punished. You have to take those risks sometimes, you know?
Absolutely, and again, it's going to be super fun to follow Vocal's run further down in the eliminations bracket later on, which is going to be very fun. But Pier, again, is going to be advancing, and I do believe that we should have some new matches coming in eventually.
Yeah, that's right. We could quickly take a look at the schedule and see what the upcoming match is.